Some people capture moments to preserve memories. Others, to keep their victims frozen in time forever. He seemed like a friendly, talented photographer. Women trusted him. They believed he could make them famous. But they never made it out of his studio alive. This is the disturbing case of Victor Langley, the photographer who turned his camera into a trap and used it to lure his victims into their final photo shoot. On May 11, 2016, 23-year-old Danielle Carter went missing in Portland, Oregon. She was an aspiring model, excited about a photo shoot with a photographer she had met through Instagram. His name was Victor Langley, a well-known local photographer. He had worked with dozens of young women creating stunning portfolios. His work looked professional, artistic, safe. Danielle had texted her best friend earlier that day. "I'm going to this awesome new studio. He says he can help me get signed." That was the last message she ever sent. When she didn't return home that night, her family grew worried. By morning, she hadn't responded to texts or calls. Police were called, and an investigation began. Langley was the last person to see her alive, but he insisted that Danielle had finished her shoot, thanked him, and left. He even showed police text messages from her number, supposedly confirming that she had gone home safely. But something was off. Her friends never got those texts, and when detectives checked security footage near Langley's studio, they saw Danielle walk in. She was never seen walking out. Police obtained a search warrant for Langley's studio, a small, minimalist workspace inside an old industrial building. When detectives arrived, they found something deeply unsettling. The studio was completely empty. No backdrops, no cameras, no props. Just a single chair in the middle of the room and a mirror covering the entire back wall. Then, they discovered something else. Behind the mirror, there was a hidden storage room, soundproofed, locked from the outside. Inside, they found women's clothing, personal belongings, and stacks of undeveloped Polaroid photos. Hundreds of them. Different women. Different locations. Some smiling. Some looking terrified. At the very back of the room, detectives found something that made their blood run cold. Danielle's phone and purse. She had never left that studio. As police dug deeper, they uncovered something even more disturbing. Langley had been operating under different names for years, using fake profiles to recruit aspiring models. The photos he took weren't just for portfolios. They were trophies. Within days, multiple families came forward. They recognized faces from the Polaroids, young women who had disappeared years ago. Langley had been luring victims for over a decade, and he wasn't just photographing them. He was keeping them. But police still didn't know where Danielle was. Then, in a shocking turn of events, a local security guard working near the industrial building reported hearing screams from an abandoned warehouse 2 blocks away. When police raided the warehouse, they found a single, locked room. Inside, they discovered a mattress, restraints, and cameras mounted on the walls. And on the floor, barely conscious but alive, was Danielle Carter. She had been held captive for 6 days. Langley was nowhere to be found. But as police analyzed the security footage from the area, they saw something chilling. Just minutes before the raid, Langley had walked out of the warehouse wearing a disguise, a delivery uniform, blending into the crowd. A statewide manhunt was launched. Langley was now one of the most wanted men in America. For 5 weeks, Langley evaded capture. He was spotted in Seattle, Los Angeles, and even Mexico. Then, on June 27th, 2016, a hotel worker in Phoenix, Arizona recognized him and called the police. When officers stormed his motel room, they found him sitting on the bed, looking completely calm. His only words: Took you long enough. Inside his bags, police found more cameras, more fake IDs, and a journal filled with names. Langley had plans to keep hunting. In court, Langley showed no remorse. He refused to apologize, refused to explain why he did it. But in a chilling moment, when asked why he took those photographs, he simply smirked and said, "I like to remember them how they were. Before." The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours. Langley was sentenced to life without parole. Police believe he had at least 12 victims, but they may never know the full number. Because to this day, some of the women in those photos have never been identified. Victor Langley wasn't just a photographer. He was a hunter, a collector, a predator who used his talent to manipulate and destroy. He had no criminal record, no history of violence. Just a camera, a smile, and a deadly plan. And the scariest part? His victims trusted him until it was too late. If you found this case chilling, be sure to subscribe for more true crime stories. Stay alert, stay safe, and always trust your instincts.